Hey, this is Carla from the Butcher Babies.
This is George Corpse Fisher from Cannibal Corpse.
Hey, this is Rex from Kill Devil Hill. It's Wednesday 13. This is Daz from Devil Driving.
This is Odorous from War. You're listening to Rabid Noise
on Rabid Radio.
Turn it up.
Eddie, how are you, man?
Doing good, man. Just chilling out.
It's awesome you could join us on the show. Since the news dropped this week that Suicide Silence were coming back down here, it just blew up all over social media, man. And I think the thing people are most excited about is it's a headline tour with quite a few dates. You know, apart from the gigs, of course, what are you looking forward to the most about coming back down to Australia?
Well, I mean, Australia is just a place that you only dream about when you're a kid. You know, it's like it's so far away. It's a whole other world, and you know what I mean. All you hear is about the outback and how grand it is, and how many dangerous animals are there, and how different the animals are there, and how everything is. You know, you grow up hearing all these wonderful things about Australia, and then being able to play shows out there is such a big deal for us because it's kind of the culmination of the dream of, hey, I want to tour for a living and go to these far off places and play shows for people that give a shit, you know. But it's always really cool to do that.
One thing I've always wondered, is it different from what you expected it to be for the first time you came down? You know, because everyone's got these expectations of Australia that, you know, we've got these dangerous animals and we're all backwards. What was it like the first time you came down?
Yeah. No, you know, it's a lot like going anywhere else in the world, you know. It has its slight differences, you know. You can tell the difference in, you know, style and architecture and, you know, the countryside, how different it is to our countryside. But in the end, I think it's all very similar, very, very much the same. I mean, in the end, you know, humans are humans, and we all have the same desires and kind of habits and things like that. So everything you can find States, you can pretty much find there too. So it's you find that there's like slight little differences, but for the most part, everything's the same. And what's cool is being able to bring, you know, such an, I guess you would say, like, touring and show aspect to these different places, and for the crowd to react the same without even being prompt or anything like that. It just kind of goes to speak on the universality of the language we use, which is music.
That's so awesome to hear. At least we're not too backwards. Everyone thinks we're
not backwards at all. If anything, very forward. And I don't know, the fact that metal thrives so heavily out there, it just goes to show that people are still very much enthralled with real music and real energy. So it means a lot to me.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, we last saw you guys down here in 2014 for the Soundwave Festival, and man, that was a good year. 2014, that was a hell of a tour, man. It looked like it was pretty good for you guys too. What was the highlight from that one for you?
Oh man, I always have various memories, and you know, a lot of them include you know, staying in the same hotel as like all the bands that were on the same tour, you know, riding in these shuttles from airplane to airplane, being on these airplanes with all of my favorite bands and some of my favorite musicians and friends that I've made throughout the years. That, you know, coupled with all the fucking sick-ass shows that we played, because they were all packed, they were all well-attended, and a lot of sweet receptions for us, you know, like people were really, really stoked on the fact that we were out there playing our music and continuing on. It meant a lot to me to see, especially being the first tour back since you know, the loss of Mitch. So for me it was, the whole tour in itself was a big deal. But that first show, man, Brisbane, just how nervous I was, how, you know, that like inevitable question that comes up right before you go on stage is, am I going to fuck up? You know, to actually taking my first step on stage in front of the light, in front of the crowd, and seeing how stoked everybody was, and then those questions, those fears, those nerves, they all disappear, and you become one with what's going on in the moment, and you become one with the crowd. And it's I don't think I'm gonna ever remember a show like that one. It was just so intense for me. The drum kit was like all set up and perfect, and I think the triggers and samples, there was something wrong with the electrical adapter, and we lost all electricity to basically what was running the show. And I remember just having like that 2-second freak out right before we went on stage, but it all worked out. The Iris Murder guys let us borrow their drum head, and we went on stage and fucking slayed it. And then from then on, it was just a downhill from there. Like, you know, I was able to slide and cruise the rest of the tour and have a good time. But that first show was just, it seemed like all the odds were against me, and then we went out there and prevailed. I'm never going to forget that.
I was there, man. I was there at that gig.
Yeah.
And it was unreal. It was
badass.
Yeah, man. And there's footage online of a massive wall of death too. I'm in there somewhere, but it was just it was insane.
You're in there.
Yeah, I can't see myself, but I know I'm in there somewhere. But there was so many people, man. It was such a good tour, and you know, as I said before, man, everyone's really, really looking forward to seeing you guys come back. It's gonna be huge. Talking about Wall of Death, have you ever been caught in one of those? Have you ever been in one of those yourself, or do you sort of cruise back and watch the band?
There's been times where if the club is small enough and I have enough leeway on my leash, as I like to call it, because as soon as you plug in a microphone and you have a cord, it's a leash. If I have enough leeway on my leash, I'll get into like a circle pit, or I'll get in the middle of a wall of death as it goes on. But for the most part, I don't really get to, because I'm stuck on stage. I'm stuck dictating it. So yeah, the walls of death aren't as old as we'd like to think. They're a new thing. So I haven't had a chance to be in too many of them. Pits is a different thing. I've been in a lot of pits.
Have you ever been in a pit where it was just too hectic that you had to bail?
No, because there's usually a lot of people looking out, you know what I mean? Like looking out for you, making sure that you're not getting too hurt, you know. I've been kicked out of a pit. I remember the first time I went to go see Terror. What was it? One of the crews that was dancing in San Francisco noticed that we weren't really dancing to the same way, and I remember being pulled aside and being told, "Hey, man, you need to like get with it or get out." And it was I was definitely taken back. I was like, "Oh shit, what? Damn! All right." Because I remember one dude grabbing me and pointing to like 4 other guys and then being like, "Listen, if you continue doing what you're doing, these 4 guys are gonna fucking kick your ass." And I was like,
"Oh man." It's been 2 years since you released You Can't Stop Me, and have you guys got plans for a follow-up? Are you working on some new tunes?
Yeah, we've been pretty much bogged down writing since October, when we had to cancel the last Australian tour. We got an offer to tour with Korn, and after we were done with that, we started. We took like a week off, and then we started writing again, and everything's been going great. We recorded. Had a good time doing it, and we're waiting on some mixes, and that's it.
Nice, man. Nice. Has it got a title or anything yet, or a release date?
I don't have any information to talk about the record. I'm sorry.
It's all good, dude.
Well, yeah, but definitely we're excited to be on tour. We're gonna be coming out there and making sure that we're paying back for the show that we had to cancel, which was very unfortunate. But at the same time, we feel like everybody understood that when Korn asks you to come out on tour with them, you gotta jump on that, or else you're passing up a badass opportunity that
totally
you can't really refuse.
No, totally, man. I totally understand. And you obviously grew up listening to them as well.
Oh, yeah.
So
they're a very influential band. So it's kind of like when the fathers of your style, the guys that inadvertently gave you life, ask you to come out on tour, you kind of drop everything for that. It's how that works.
Oh man, I totally understand that one for sure. But I mean, I guess as I said, man, people are just stoked that you're coming back. Especially for so many dates.
And it's the fact that we haven't been there headlining since we got allotted 45 minutes to play at Soundwave, and it's going to be nice to be able to play more of our set and kind of have it be our show. Have the crowd there specifically to see us intimately. Smaller clubs, get on stage, jump off stage. Have a badass time.
You're playing the Woolly Mammoth in Brisbane, which is a pretty awesome venue, man. I think that's just gonna be pretty intense. Not an actual woolly mammoth,
I've heard about that place, but I've never gone. Yeah, I'm glad it's not an actual woolly mammoth because that'd be weird. I thought they were.
We've got some pretty weird names for clubs up here, man. We got the Bearded Lady, the Woolly Mammoth. You don't want to play in a Bearded Lady, that's for sure. Well, yeah, man. We're looking forward to it, dude. And, I really appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us on the show tonight, man. And we'll definitely see you at the Woolly Mammoth in Brisbane on September 3rd.
Yeah, I'll be waiting for all you guys, man. We'll have some VIPs for sale if they're not already sold out. Come meet us early, and then come let us rock your world,
Thanks so much, brother. I hope you have a good day, and all the best with your upcoming tour, bro.
Cheers, brother. We'll see you soon.